Yes.
So
So,
today, yeah,
mhm.
you can tell like what we're discussing today.
Yeah, today I think we'll talk about planning, financial planning for a store for a season.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So this is
we can do that.
so all of this will fall under forecasting, right? Like the common terminology would be
Yeah, it
forecasting.
comes under forecasting. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes, before the season, then we'll have to
Yeah.
forecast and we have to plan ahead.
Yes.
And I think that's what we can discuss today.
So yeah, I think again, like if you want to like picturize where exactly it sits in retail, like
Mm-hmm.
this would be again like somewhere at the beginning stage. It is like stage one where you're planning the whole season. I think this in fact comes even before your product strategy, your marketing strategy. This sits even before that.
Yeah,
So this
yeah.
is
I think it
probably
comes right after the customer research, not customer research, sorry, competitor research.
yes. So you do your competitor research and then you do your forecasting for the upcoming season. And like in just layman terms, it is planning the numbers that you want to hit your target sales targets and the big numbers that you want to make in the upcoming season. Or usually it's done for 12 months, I think,
Yeah,
broken down by all the retail weeks. Will give you exactly what you need to take every single week. But broadly, I think it's done for one financial year, right? I mean,
that's
that's what I've seen mostly. And then you just break it down into how much would autumn winter take, how much would spring summer take. Then
yeah,
you break it down further with by season.
that's true.
And
Yes,
yeah, so that will give you an idea of what the first 6 months are going to look like, depending on how long the seasons are and how the next six would look like. And then obviously that's further divided into categories. Um, in case you want to like bring in new product and you're filling up gaps, you have to forecast some additional sales for that. So all that becomes a part of this. So
right. Yes.
usually, so I think like when we were talking, Manish, you were saying that usually you would do whatever the stores had done, and then you just fill it up, and then you give it like an increment percentage, and then so it's like almost rolling the number up, right?
Not just that, also we will find out. Yeah, so that's one thing that we will increment the number up to about 7 to 10%. That's one thing. And then the other thing is that we also decide on between inside the categories or inside the categories or inside the subcategories, we will also
Yeah.
find out which we discussed about which fashion style did well, and then this can be taken to core. So
Yeah.
then we would say that okay, so this we are adding this piece into a core, so therefore the core percentage will also might change because we are introducing something into core that season because something did really well and we are feeling that that can really well for the last 1 year or so we're thinking that we can introduce that, so that's also there in the projections. Also we project that what are the new styles that's going to come, then we add that. So one is that what's going into core, what's new that's going to come, what's going to stay as a classic from last season, fashion essentials from the last season to this season.
Yeah.
These are the things that we check. These are the three things that we check. Um, so that's
So I
yeah.
think forecasting can be, yes, divided into like little parts where
Mhm.
you are doing your historical sale analysis, which falls under data analysis. So you're looking back.
Right.
Um, so you will obviously look at the season that's completing. So the current season, whenever you're doing it, it's usually done like much ahead in time. So you're
That's
not
right.
forecasting in January, but you would have done it like 6 months ago or maybe more than that. So you're looking at data analysis of your trading season, of your last season, and a similar season. So if you're doing it for 12 months, you're looking at the full year. And you will have an idea of, um, as maybe like top line you would know, like lots of times we would know that to be profitable we had to hit a certain number, which was 5% on total sales, so 5% increment on last year's sales, or 10%. So there would be like some number to move
Yeah,
towards.
that's
That
true.
is one. And then the roll up of what you think your category would do. So if you're a category manager, you're looking after every category manager would roll up their numbers, and that gives you an idea of what that forecasted number looks like. Does it look right or not? And under that, I think you will do like more detailed analysis of what worked well, what did not work well, your best sellers, which should be covered, and any slow sellers that should be removed from the line. And like you mentioned, in core, is it worth keeping a line as core? What's the productivity of that line? Um, and Yeah, I think the techniques could be different. You could do it at a category level. You could do it at a store level. There are different ways of looking at it. So
Yeah, that's
in category, it's usually like looked at how the ranges are performing. That's where you would understand that in every category, you carry certain ranges, and then in every range, how many options were offered, um, what was the quantity sold or you were left with, and bestsellers and slow movers. And if there were any gaps, that's where you start bridging, because any gaps that you want to fill becomes like additional sales that has to be accounted for in the total sales
yeah.
forecast for the following year. Yeah. I think broadly that's what it is.
Also, another thing that in the forecast, if you are adding any new channels, if there are any
Yeah.
new stores that's coming, so in the forecast we
Yeah.
would one is
Yeah.
that the one is that like 7 to 10% that organic increase
Yeah.
from year on year sales. Also, the you talk to the new projects team whether an online store is going to be introduced or any other um,
Channel will come in.
channels that's going to introduce, any key accounts that's going to be introduced, any new stores that's going to be opened. So that is the inorganic growth that you think about, and
Yeah.
then you add that. Okay, so these are the stores that's going to do. So you do a store-wise forecast first. That this is a store. This is the catchment area. We can. This could be an A store, A plus, or B or C, and
Yeah.
then add that. In the forecast also we used to do from top down and bottom up. The top down is the, of course, the big finance number which we want to take care with and then we would divide it into categories and subcategories. The bottom up is like there are two approaches. One is um, from each subcategory, you just from in terms of merchandise, you do a bottom up, which is
Hmm.
core, which is going to be fashion essential, and which is going to be fashion. And
Yeah.
also there is a bottom up from a number of stores. So we have this many stores historically. These are the stores. These are the styles that did well in the past, and these are the sizes that did well in the past. Uh, mm, and then kind of put do it independently for each store, put all that data together and see whether that the category wise division and the store wise put together analysis matches.
Yes.
And yeah, so this is also something that we do. And then size wise analysis also something that we do. We kind of get the size wise analysis separately. So there is store wise analysis bottom up, there is size wise analysis bottom up, and there is style wise analysis bottom up. All the three numbers has to match.
Yeah.
And then something which is top down, where we have this as the as my as my category or as my in-house label, and this is how I want my in-house label to perform. So a top down also something that
Yeah.
you can work. But sometimes in certain organization the top down is done by the finance team, so they would do the
Yes.
top down and you would do the bottom up from these
Yeah.
number of stores with styles and with sizes. and then you give the report, and then we kind of match the top down and the bottom up with the finance team. So that also can be done.
Yeah. I think the main difference lies between how old the retailer is or how established a retailer or a brand is. So for an established retailer, I think everybody does this exercise in their own each departments. Like store teams would have a say in that next year, this is what our take, like we sold 1 million uh, value, like sales value. I think next year we can do 10% extra. So there would everybody would do their numbers. But I think for an established retailer, yes, there would be like a company number that needs to be like everybody will align to that. But everybody would probably have a say in which might like change that top line number a bit. So established retailer, yes, that is the way forward, where everybody is putting their say, like everybody has a say in like every department, buying and merchandising, the store team, and even like new store openings, everything, like we just roll up the number together, like add it all up and then see what that move is, like what's the change in year on year. So that's one part. And I think for a new retailer or a startup, I think it's very difficult to project what your categories could take. You could just put in like ideal numbers. Like when you were just starting a business, you can just say that this is where I want to end. But that will mostly be driven by what you were saying, that it would be like all new channels opening, how extensively you're going to expand, how many sales channels you're going to bring into the business. That is what's going to mostly move the number. It's not just buying and merchandising saying that we want to sell more next year, we're going to buy more inventory, because I think that's not where it lies at that moment.
Yeah,
Like,
for our new
yeah.
stores, one of the new stores that I had worked with, it was a brand new store, but it was a brick and mortar. It was like a
Okay.
offline store. So what
Yeah.
we did was that we tried to understand what the store stands for,
Yeah.
and then we kind of did the visual merchandising for the store. That how many gondolas has to be there, how
Yeah.
many wall is going to be there. So
Yeah.
we found out how so what the store stands for and who is the store is for, and
Yeah.
for that kind of a people, um, what is the store layout that is going to be, like how many
Yeah. Yeah.
fixtures that's going to be
Yeah.
there, whether we're going to pack it too much, or it's an affluent store, so we're not going to have so much merchandise and all of that. So after understanding the plan of the store, then
Mm-hmm.
what we did was that we kind of counted what are the number of pieces that can be kept. Then
Yeah.
we from there we did a bottom up. We kind of understood what are the categories, subcategories that can be kept, and then we found out that, oh no, this the plan that we got and the numbers on the Excel sheet do not match, and this is the kind of minimum inventory that I want to carry. And then we talked back, we talked to the VM team, saying that we need more or less certain categories more. So they kind of changed the fixture to a from like just like a rail to a gondola, because we wanted
Yeah.
more in certain departments, and certain departments they kind of changed the fixture so that it can carry less inventory. So
Yeah.
and then by understanding the category, we also found out what is the cost of goods purchase that's going to be purchased, and then we got an approval from the business
Yeah.
owner saying that
Yeah.
this is going to be the expense. Are you okay to buy this much merchandise
Yeah.
for this look and for this thing? Then it got approved, and then so
Yeah.
we kind of worked with the VM team
Okay.
and matched the floor plan, and told the VM team, also suggested certain changes with respect to the numbers and with respect to the number of pieces that needs to be there on the floor, and then got it approved also, whether this type of visual merchandising,
Yeah.
these type of fixtures can be okay
Yeah.
for the budget and all of that from the business owner.
Yeah. And I think like for startups, maybe the forecasting is not just done for 12 months. It might be like for the next 1 year for a startup, because they know that this is an investment and we will not break even in like the next 6 months. But in the next 5 years, we want to be a profitable startup. Like we want to be a profitable
Yeah,
retailer. So that will also determine or at least guide the numbers, not
yeah,
give
it's
you
for a
like the
year.
exact forecasting, but maybe in a couple of years, you can you can forecast the trends. So
Yeah.
for an established retailer, there is that trend forecasting as well. Like you're actually seeing that my core product grows 10%. There's an increment sales, like it was 10%, then 20%, then 30%. It keeps on going. Like the more people buy it, the more they fall in love with it, and we have repeat customers. So you also have to like look at those trends on your numbers when you're forecasting. But I think that only comes after at least a few seasons of trade. So, once you've done like a couple of at least 2 seasons of spring, 2 seasons of summer, and then you can like make your trends. But for a startup, it is very difficult. You can do your competitor analysis, but you will never have those, you know, the, that minute understanding of what's happening with the product at a
Yeah,
product level.
yeah, it is an approximation only, Snigdha.
Yeah.
The other thing that one you can do for a startup is that if it's an e-commerce store,
Yeah.
they can they can run ads for like
Hmm.
maybe even if they do not have the merchandise, they
Yeah.
can run ads for certain pieces.
Yeah.
Even if it's not made, they can have an AI and then they can
Yeah.
make certain designs
Yeah.
and run ads and test these pieces on running ads and
Yeah.
check whether these the click through for those pictures are there, and then they can assess that which picture is doing well, and then they can bet on them more or less depending on how people click the ads. That is
Yeah.
also something that's one of the market research that they can do, because Meta, Instagram and Facebook, Meta gives results very instantly, almost if you just run ads at a very low budget for like three
Okay.
days to 7 days,
Yeah.
you have
Yeah.
a fair idea of what's doing well. For a
Yeah.
beginner, that can also be done.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I
start
think, yeah.
always the business owner has to, there is something that they have to work it out. Sneha. There's no it's purely on their intuition
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
gut feeling, whichever is strong for them. And then they have to make it run for some extent to get the data, and after that only you will be able to, like, yeah, market research is there, and then and then testing the market with, maybe they can do a questionnaire and then check, or so they can take data from there, or they can run ads and check. All of these things can be done to support your intuition, but or your gut feeling, but still it's a risk that they're going to take for the first season.
Yeah. So no, no, that is true. So sales forecasting, like when we were like talking about where exactly it sits, you said competitors analysis comes prior to that.
Yeah,
So for
yeah,
a startup, you would imagine that they've done that work, they've done a market research, they've understood consumer behavior for the kind of product they are introducing,
yeah.
and so in that sense, yeah, they would have some understanding of what's happening with product, like some spotting of trends they will have to do with this external data, and how their consumer, like target customer, is behaving.
Yeah,
um
because they need some. You cannot go 100% on the gut feeling. They need to know some basis, right? Like, so even just not in fashion, any business, the first thing that you need to see is whether your product is already being sold, and then only you. It is very unlikely to start a product which is not being bought by anybody and say that you will be the first person and you will find a market. It might look like an ideal situation, theoretically speaking, or and in the
yeah.
mind, but that's never the case. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
you need to have some what do I say, a proof of concept of that
Yeah.
product.
Yeah.
So we have to see what's happening in the market, and the first collection has to be somewhat modeled from whatever that's. So once you're there, and then there's something that's selling, and then you've taken from the market, and then you imitated them and kept the same range. After that, you have that scope to experiment and introduce new product and see whether at least you
Yeah.
have that opportunity to experiment later. To try
Yeah.
it at the beginning, it's never without any basis of data. It may
Yeah.
be. it might be a difficult. I mean, it can be okay if you have an understanding of some other market. Say, for example, Chopper Stop started with a departmental store because they had a background of real estate. They were the owner company was a Raheja Group. They had
Yeah.
some understanding about catchment area analysis, that whether that real estate, that product, is there affluent people coming in that area. So they had some data
Yeah.
beforehand. Unless you have another business where you have data beforehand to kind of it can be like a brand extension that you started apparel or fashion
Yeah.
retail.
Yeah.
Otherwise you'll have to depend on
Yeah.
somebody else who's actually.
Yeah.
So either you have to have some data about the customer, and then you can make a prediction that, yeah, I have this data about the customer, and these people may buy these garments, or you need to have a data whether these garments are actually selling in that area.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's where I think it's very different. So if it's an established retailer, and I remember like in India there was some new mall where one of the retailers was opening. So they told the buying and merchandising team that can you just do your own projections, that what do you think, like uh, just match it to, and they would let us know whether it's like an A grade store or a B grade store. So we would just match the sales to another, and then
Mhm.
they said that it might do slightly better. The footfall might
Right.
be higher. So then we would do our projections, and based on that, we would do an ideal assortment for that store. That this is how much it needs to carry. But that is, like I said, that is an established retailer where all this information is already available. So you're opening a B grade store, and you already have like 10 B grade stores. So it's you can like pick those numbers from and match it back to that. But yeah, so I think in forecasting, at least in buying and merchandising, you would be doing your range plan, which is like further divided into smaller activities where you're like looking at all the details of what your weekly sales was, what your monthly sales was, what the sell throughs were, all the numbers that we spoke of, like what the margins looked like. And you're not just doing it historically comparing it to a similar season, but you're looking at all the data available. So you're looking back, you're looking at the most current season, and then if you're trading right now, you're seeing what's happening to the numbers now. So if the rate of sale, let's say for a product was 3 in a similar season a year ago, and it hasn't moved, but currently you see that from 3 it suddenly jumped to something crazy. So that then you have to pick on that trend, that why is it happening. So and then yeah, letting go of colors or introducing more colors, filling up any gaps, sizing, if it runs into, if you carry more SKUs on a product line, then are you going to maintain and retain the size set going forward? All that sits under your range plan. Then you do your trend analysis. um, and then I think like even budgeting and OTB will be like a part of. So from your forecasting your sales number, you would do your budgets. That because your sales forecasting is always done on retail value, right?
Yeah,
Never
yeah.
on costs. Yeah. So
Never.
from there you create your budgets. Yeah. You create
Yeah,
your budgets.
yeah. Once
Which
this sales is fixed, then we'll have to look into margins, and then after margins, then you look into the budgets. Yeah.
yeah.
This is
So I
only a
think
top line objective.
yeah.
How
So I
much?
think from yeah. So from wherever I've worked, I've seen that there are like in a year, you know that at this time in the year, you will be everybody, irrespective of departments, everybody is doing their forecasts,
Yeah.
and then you match all the numbers. For a
Yeah.
startup, I think into a startup, you will have your projected numbers, like I said, for the next 5 years, and you will keep these things in mind.
Yeah.
And maybe like finance plays an important role as well, because here the rentals of the property that you're going to be selling from, like if it's brick and mortar, the cost of running an online business, all that matters, like all that has to be accounted for. So I think those forecasting numbers are different. Once that is set, I think then everybody works towards it. Then you start trading, planning everything to that number.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is like one alignment that has to happen at the beginning of anything. So I don't know if like you said that lots of startups are born out of intuition, or that that gut feeling that this product line is missing in the market, and I think I want to bring in a product line that will fill up this gap. um, but that is important, yes, but then this part is equally
Yeah.
important, or maybe more important, yeah, for it to be successful.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, because you need to have,
Otherwise,
because not everybody has, because it's yeah, not but everybody will have the same gut feeling or intuition, or not everybody's intuition will is going to come
yeah, yeah,
is come out going to come out.
yeah. And then I think like maybe at a top line level, when the forecasts and your projections are done, I think there are like there will be money that is set aside for marketing. There will be a marketing budget that's created. There
Mhm.
will be, I think then the numbers are looked at differently. Like everybody's given a budget then to work with. It's like merchandising and buying would be told that this is the number you need to make plus this margin. So you can't just hit that number by giving discounts and discounts and discounts, but you also have to hit your margin. And then you
Yeah,
can't buy so much inventory that you end up with like lots of inventory. You have to have like a certain level of sell through as well. So
exactly.
then those targets are set for the 12 months, or if you're doing it for 6 months, yeah, for the 6 month season. And marketing budget would determine like the activities they can get involved in. This is like all traditional retail I'm talking of, but I can see like there are like so many brands. Like back in the day when I passed out from college, um, at least in India, it was very similar. Like organized retail looked and felt similar, but now with there's so many startups, there are online businesses, there are newcomers who have suddenly become very popular in the
And
last 10 years.
many brands that started in 2010 got shut before 2020. So there was like all the almost all the brands that started with that e-com wave, most of them had shut. I mean, half of their names that we remember that's not even there. Like I don't know whether Mintra is even there right now. Like Mintra,
Mintra is there, yeah, yeah. That's what
yeah.
we were talking about. That Ritesh has just become. Remember with Sony, we was talking.
Oh, okay. I did not. Okay. And then there is Cooves that was there. There were many retail
Cooves
brands.
was there. I don't know if it's still there. Jabong was there. Cooves was there. I think this was all online at that
Was
time.
there, yeah. Jabong was there, and
Like
then there were
lots of
many
my,
brands,
yeah.
yeah, many brands that was available. But
Because I think India still has that scope because the organized retail was so tiny. Though there's like immense local retailers, like the whole scene, retail scene in India is very different to what's how retail is set up here in the UK.
yeah. Oh, Mintra is there. Wow.
Mintra is there, yeah, yeah. Mintra is like really big, like so.
They
I
changed
think
to all online, right? Sometime back. They changed to all, sorry, app. And then did they go back from app to, I think they went
website.
back to, yeah, app to website,
I
I think.
think like I always like whenever I was in like I would come for a holiday and look at online brands, I would refuse to download the app. So I would never buy from
The
Mintra.
app.
I would because yeah, that was like a pain. But now I think they have a browser version. Yeah, you can shop
Yeah.
from there.
And it's more like Sheen. Mintra is, I think, more of,
Is it?
there's a brand called Sheen, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
There's
think
a
it's Chinese or
Chinese brand, no?
some.
So they've
Yeah.
kind of have their merchandise like Sheen.
Yeah, I think Shein is also just a retailer and it has like different manufacturers under it, and you just
Right.
shop directly from a manufacturer. I think that's the whole concept. With Mintra, I feel every time you go, you see the same kind of brands there, which might have
Uh-huh.
started as their private label or only exclusive to Mintra at a time, but I think now they retailed
Right.
as independent brands as well. Because I
Yeah,
think
but
Mintra's also been there for a while now.
yeah, the silhouettes are like more like Sheen, and they have a lot of customer photographs. I think that these are all between paid.
I think the model's also very different. They offer like everything and too much. Like there's just too much of everything over there. So if you go to
Interesting.
Myntra, you will end up like finding something.
Uh,
But there is another one, like I can't remember now. There was another online brand with Myntra.
the
Let me
Tata's brand is doing really well for youngsters. What's that? The fast fashion Tata in India. I forgot the name.
I think that must be new. Are
Yes,
they, is it named?
I forgot the fast fashion brand in Tata. Zudio. Zudio.
Okay.
There's a brand
Zudio.
called Zudio which is doing really well right now, and they have like pretty decent silhouettes and pretty decent. They've kind of figured out what like the young Gen Z men and women want.
Yeah. I think that the strength of Tata's was with Trent, it was that the vendors, the kind of vendors they
Yeah,
had. So
yeah,
I
and the
think
brand is also really good. The
yeah.
pay.
So I think like they grew with the business, and I think that's where they're able to at least create some kind of differentiation.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense, yeah.
I think they were very loyal to the brand, yeah, the vendors. Um, but I'm still trying to think like there's Myntra and there is one more brand. What's it called? Agio, Agio,
Agio is there, still there. That is Gio's
Agio,
brand. Agio is Gio's brand. So
Geo's brand.
that's, yeah, yeah, because Gio is funding them, and Gio has other monetizing model. I mean, they have the SIM and all of that, internet and SIM. So, so, so they are doing they're doing okay, but then they have the funds to you know be there for a very long time. Agio will never close.
Okay. And then I think Nykaa started with beauty. I don't know if Nykaa still has.
Nika, yeah, Nika is also
It
doing
wanted
well.
to foray
They do-
into apparels as well. I'm not sure
Yeah.
if it did.
No, Nika is doing well. Nika is one brand that did well. They've raised some funds. I don't know whether they're profitable, but then they're doing well. They're
Okay.
one brand that they did well.
Okay.
Hmm.
But yeah, for beauty, I think Nykaa is quite
Yeah, for beauty,
popular.
Nika is good.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
that's
Yeah, I
nice.
think Tata's brand is called Tata Click. Is it
There was
Click with a
Click. No?
Q?
I don't know whether Click. I don't have any data. It was I have not
Yeah.
heard, not seen the. I saw. I used to see the ads sometime back, but now there's no ads. Also, I don't see it that often. So
Mm-hmm.
not sure how. Yeah, Tata Click was also there. They were selling to premium
Okay.
customers. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah, so I think Myntra is like Myntra, Agio, and Meesho.com, Tata Click, Nykaa,
yeah,
all of these are there.
yeah.
And then yeah, like if you're online, everybody would have um, a representation on Amazon.
Yeah, that's true. They're all there in Amazon.
Yeah, yeah. So I think like for a startup, your plan would include that I'm opening like your expansion plan and what the channels are going to look like, where that money is going to come in, and that would determine your forecasting.
Mm.
So once your sales forecasting is done, then this number feeds into your budgeting. Like then you put your budgets into place, your OTB in place, and then I think once your sales are done, then it's frozen. That these are your sales, and then once you start trading, you can like make corrections,
Okay.
and you revise the plan, and then you also when you're trading it, you do put in your actuals. So
Yeah.
that's like usually I've seen those three numbers. So there would be like one frozen number that this is ideal, this is what we wanted. Everything is built from there, and then 3 months into trade, you're like, no, we need to like tweak it. Then you do like your first tweak, your
Yeah.
first change, and then what it actually like trades.
Mm.
So those are also like your sales trends that you map.
Mm.
And I think there are like external factors which could be um, opening in a new city. What are the local needs
Yeah.
and customer?
Yeah. Local
Yeah.
needs. There, as a city, what's how much they accept fashion, how
Yeah.
conservative the city is,
Yeah.
and also what are the weather's conditions, whether that they
Yeah.
can wear those items, or whether they are affluent enough that they are always in the air condition,
Yeah.
that they can buy, or they have to buy certain things throughout the year. Like in the Middle East,
Yeah.
everybody's in the AC, so you need jackets and sweaters all the time because the AC is 18 degrees almost in all the places. Yeah,
Yeah. And even
yeah,
festivals, like if you look at India, like India is celebrating different festivals. Like South India would have Pongal and
yeah,
Onam, which
the
are
festivals
not
are,
like holidays in the north, but
yes,
yeah, I think it carries some cultural
New
significance, some
Year,
relevance
yeah,
as well.
yeah. Pongal and
Yeah,
New Year, also people
yeah,
celebrate. Like Telugu New Year is celebrated. I forgot the name of Telugu New Year. It's celebrated like really big in Andhra
yeah,
Pradesh. Yeah,
yeah.
so
Or any like even like holidays when you know that they're going to be holidays or that the sales might peak in a,
yeah.
I don't know
So
if it's an election day, it's not a holiday, is it? You don't get a holiday in India, do you?
for election day,
Yeah, I think here maybe like you leave your office early or schools.
here it's a holiday on an election day.
It is a on election day, yeah? Yeah.
Yeah,
So that will also affect your sales and so there are
yeah,
like external factors also that you will like build into your
yeah.
forecast.
You have to consider all of that. Yeah. The
And
Telugu New
then
Year
other
is Ugadi. Ugadi. They
Ugadi,
celebrate
yeah.
it
Yeah, yeah.
on their
And
New Year.
then in your range planning, I think we would do like a SWOT analysis. We would like look at our ranges and we would literally do like what was the strength of the range, what was the
Mm.
weakness, what are the threats where
Mm.
all these external factors and competitors come into place. So we would just map it and we would do that also. I think yeah, that's like an exercise where you're looking at everything at that point when you're doing your range planning.
Yeah.
And then like I said, yeah, and the finance team, like yeah, they will like obviously have the final sign off that comes from them once you roll up your numbers, and you have to have everybody's buy-in. Yeah, but yes, I think that's the starting point here. Everything else um, follows this. So even
Yes.
your product planning, your assortment plan, your marketing strategy is actually dependent on a budget. You will have to assign some budget for it, which has to be determined in the beginning. Um, yeah, any new store opening, any expansion plans on certain product lines, categories. Um, yeah, yeah. So I think that's what forecasting is, and it is essential. Like we said, that intuitively you could do something, but you still have to make your numbers. You
Yeah,
still have to sell the product. Yeah,
that's true.
yeah, yeah. I think.
We pretty much covered.
Yeah, I think you do your forecasting for product. You do your forecasting at a store level. Uh, Finance team will do some forecasting for them. Marketing will do some forecasting for them, their needs, and then everything's rolled up, brought together, and then if you have some sales trends, you match it to the trend. If you have some big plans, expansion plans or growth plans, you just build that number in. And yeah, for a startup, maybe you have to do it for a longer period of time. Yeah.
Mm, exactly.
And then yeah, and then from here you get your little numbers for every category, for every store, for every range, for yeah, the marketing budget. What else? Yeah.
Mm,
And your yeah, the document that we want to discuss in the future, which is the OTB,
mhm.
it is obviously like that comes after your sales forecasting once you have your sales
Yeah,
number.
we'll do the sales
Yeah.
forecasting, and
Yeah.
we'll have to do the margin. We have to understand the margin for each category, and then obviously, then after that,
Yeah.
we can get an buying budget approval, and then we can do the OTB. I think we'll discuss
Yes.
that on the next.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we'll discuss, and then when Shrishti is available, then one more time we can discuss on any topic again.
Yeah,
Like
and get some
again,
more
yeah,
feedback.
get some more
Yes, I think that's a
have
good
like
idea. Yeah,
mm,
yeah.
that's good.
I think
Yeah.
because like there's such varied experience between all of us, that would be good to have
Mm,
some more. So yeah, I
yeah.
think like this is covered, right? So we'll like
Yeah.
meet again to discuss the OTP then.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
See you.